For centuries, the colorful images and enigmatic symbols of tarot cards have captivated the human imagination. These 78 cards have been used to play games, tell fortunes, explore spirituality, and even inspire art and literature. But where did they come from? How did a simple card game evolve into a tool for divination and self-discovery? In this video, we'll embark on a journey through time, tracing the fascinating history of tarot, from its humble beginnings in medieval Europe to its current status as a global phenomenon. We'll explore the myths, the facts, and the enduring mystery surrounding these captivating cards. Join us as we uncover the secrets of tarot's past, its transformation through the ages, and its lasting impact on culture and spirituality. This is the story of tarot, a tale of playing cards that became so much more. The exact origins of tarot are shrouded in mystery, but most historians agree that the cards first appeared in Europe during the mid-15th century. The earliest known tarot decks originated in northern Italy, particularly in the courts of Milan, Ferrara, and Bologna. These early decks were hand-painted works of art, commissioned by wealthy noble families. One of the oldest surviving tarot decks is the Visconti Sforza Tarot, created around 1450 for the Duke of Milan. These luxurious cards, with their gold leaf embellishments and intricate designs, offer us a glimpse into the aristocratic world of Renaissance Italy. But the story doesn't start here. To truly understand tarot's origins, we need to look further back at the history of playing cards themselves. Playing cards are believed to have originated in China during the Tang dynasty, around the 9th century. They spread westward along trade routes, reaching Egypt and the Islamic world before finally arriving in Europe in the late 14th century. The direct predecessor of tarot was likely the Mamluk deck used in Egypt. This deck featured 52 cards, divided into 4 suits, much like modern playing cards. When these cards reached Italy, they were adapted and expanded, giving birth to what we now know as tarot. The key innovation of tarot was the addition of the trump cards, also known as the major arcana. These 22 cards, featuring allegorical figures and symbolic scenes, set tarot apart from other playing card decks of the time. These trumps included figures like the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess, and the iconic Death card. They were likely inspired by the allegorical processions popular in Italian festivals of the time, as well as by medieval and Renaissance art and literature. As we'll see, these seemingly simple additions would eventually transform tarot from a game of chance into a tool for divination and spiritual exploration. But that transformation was still centuries away. From its birthplace in northern Italy, tarot quickly spread to other parts of Europe, particularly France. As it traveled, it evolved, with different regions developing their own variations of the deck. In Italy, the game was known as tarocchi, in France as tarot, and in other parts of Europe as tarok or tarok. Despite the different names, the basic structure remained the same. 56 suited cards, known today as the minor arcana, and 22 trump cards, the major arcana. For the first few centuries of its existence, tarot was primarily used for playing card games. These games, ancestors of modern bridge and whist, were popular among the nobility and eventually spread to the middle classes. The symbolism on the cards, while rich and complex, was not initially associated with mysticism or divination. The images reflected the medieval and Renaissance worldview, including religious themes, social hierarchies, and moral allegories. As printing technology advanced in the 15th and 16th centuries, tarot decks became more widely available. This democratization of tarot led to a proliferation of regional variations and design styles. In German-speaking countries, a variation called the Tarot deck emerged, which reduced the number of trump cards. Meanwhile, in France, the Tarot de Marseille became the standard design, influencing many later decks. The Tarot de Marseille, standardized in the 17th century, features simple, bold designs that have become iconic in the world of tarot. This deck played a crucial role in the later occult interpretations of tarot. For nearly 3 centuries, tarot remained primarily a tool for entertainment. But as we'll see, a shift in perception was on the horizon, one that would forever change the way we view these enigmatic cards. For much of its early history, tarot was primarily used for gaming. The complex rules and strategic gameplay made it a favorite pastime among nobles, and later, the general public. The game of tarot, or tarocchi, was similar to modern trick-taking games like bridge. Players would try to win tricks and score points, with the trump cards adding an extra layer of strategy. As tarot spread across Europe, regional variations of the game emerged. In France, tarot became so popular that it spawned its own deck designs and rule variations. French tarot, still played today, uses a 78-card deck, but with slightly different suits than the Italian version. It remains a popular card game in France and parts of Canada. In other parts of Europe, games like Königrufen in Austria-Hungary and Sego in Germany's Black Forest region adapted tarot to local tastes. These games helped keep tarot alive and evolving over the centuries. For over 300 years, from the mid-15th to the late 18th century, tarot's primary identity was that of a card game. Its mystical associations were still to come. But as we enter the Age of Enlightenment, we'll see how a new interpretation of these cards would emerge, forever changing their place in Western culture. The transformation of tarot from game to divinatory tool began in the late 18th century, amidst the intellectual ferment of the Enlightenment era. In 1781, French Protestant pastor Antoine Coeur de Gébelin published Le Monde Primitif, a speculative work on the origins of language and religion. In it, he proposed a revolutionary idea about tarot. Coeur de Gébelin claimed that tarot originated in ancient Egypt, preserving the occult wisdom of Egyptian priests. Though this theory has since been disproven, it sparked a new interest in tarot as a repository of ancient knowledge. Shortly after, Jean-Baptiste Aliette, under the pen name Etela, published the first known book on tarot divination. Etela's work included divinatory meanings for each card and methods for laying out the cards for readings. Etela also created the first tarot deck specifically designed for divination. This marked a significant shift in tarot's purpose and design, setting the stage for its occult revival in the 19th century. As we move into the 19th century, we'll see how these ideas would be expanded and elaborated, leading to a full-blown occult revival. Section 6: Occult Revival and Modernization. The 19th century saw a surge of interest in the occult, with tarot playing a central role in this revival. Secret societies and esoteric orders began incorporating tarot into their mystical systems. One of the most influential figures in this period was the French occultist Eliphas Lévy. In his 1856 book, Dogme et Rituel de la Haute Magie, Lévy connected tarot to the Kabbalah, astrology, and alchemy. Lévy's work established many of the esoteric associations that are still part of tarot interpretation today. He linked the 22 trump cards to the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet and the paths on the Kabbalistic tree of life. In the late 19th century, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn an influential magical society, further developed these ideas. Members of the order, including Arthur Edward Waite and Aleister Crowley, would go on to create some of the most influential tarot decks of the 20th century. In 1909, Waite, along with artist Pamela Colman Smith, created the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot. This deck revolutionized tarot design by including symbolic scenes on all cards, not just the trumps. It remains one of the most popular decks worldwide. Aleister Crowley, with artist Lady Frida Harris, later created the Thoth Tarot, published posthumously in 1969. This deck incorporated complex esoteric symbolism from various mystical traditions. These developments in the late 19th and early 20th centuries set the stage for tarot's explosion in popularity during the New Age movement of the 1960s and 70s. But before we explore that, let's look at how tarot began to influence popular culture. Section 7. Tarot in popular culture. As tarot's mystical reputation grew, it began to capture the imagination of artists, writers, and filmmakers. The card's rich symbolism and air of mystery made them perfect fodder for creative works. In 1922, T.S. Eliot's groundbreaking poem, The Wasteland, incorporated tarot imagery, bringing the cards into the realm of high modernist literature. Cinema also embraced tarot's mystique, from early films like Jean Cocteau's Blood of a Poet to more recent works like the James Bond film Live and Let Die. Tarot cards have often been used to add an element of fate or mysticism to storylines. Throughout the 20th and 21st centuries, tarot has appeared in countless novels, songs, and visual artworks. It has become a shorthand for the mystical and the fateful in popular culture. Today, tarot imagery can be found on everything from high-fashion runways to everyday objects like phone cases and home decor. Its visual language has become part of our cultural lexicon, recognized even by those who have never had a tarot reading. But while tarot was making its mark on popular culture, it was also undergoing a renaissance as a spiritual and psychological tool. Section 8. Contemporary Tarot Practices. The late 20th century saw an explosion of interest in tarot, fueled by the New Age movement and a growing interest in alternative spiritualities. This renewed interest led to a proliferation of new tarot decks. While many still use traditional symbolism, others incorporate diverse cultural influences, modern art styles, or specific themes like nature or feminism. Contemporary tarot practice often blends traditional interpretations with modern psychological insights. Many readers view tarot not as a tool for predicting the future, but for self-reflection and personal growth. Some therapists have even incorporated tarot into their practice, using the cards as a tool for accessing the subconscious and facilitating discussions about complex emotions and life situations. The internet age has transformed tarot culture, making information and community more accessible than ever. Online courses, forums, and social media have created a global network of tarot enthusiasts sharing knowledge and interpretations. Today, tarot is used in a wide variety of contexts, from personal meditation practices to corporate team-building exercises. The cards continue to find new applications in our modern world. As we've seen, tarot has come a long way from its origins as a card game in Renaissance Italy. But what does the future hold for these enigmatic cards? Section 9. Conclusion. The history of tarot is a testament to the enduring power of symbols and the human desire to find meaning in the mysterious. From a game of chance to a tool of divination, from occult secret to pop culture icon, Tarot has continually reinvented itself over the centuries. Today, Tarot continues to evolve. New decks are created every year, reflecting our changing world and diverse perspectives. The cards are used by people of all backgrounds, for purposes ranging from spiritual guidance, to psychological insight, to artistic inspiration. As we look to the future, one thing seems certain. The Tarot's journey is far from over. These 78 cards, with their rich history and endless potential for interpretation, will likely continue to captivate and inspire for generations to come. Whether you see them as a game, a divination tool, a psychological aid, or simply a beautiful art form, the tarot cards invite us all to explore, to question, and to seek meaning in the patterns of our lives. The history of tarot reminds us that symbols and stories have power, the power to entertain, to enlighten, and to help us understand ourselves and our world in new ways. In the end, perhaps that is the true magic of tarot.